Hey, Chirag, it's Viktor. We're on the podcast right now.
He might still be at the doctor's.
Then we talk with the doctor as well why he's late.
I'm right below my house now. I should be there in 2 minutes.
If you told me that you're driving right now and I know the Indian traffic, I would say 5 minutes. 5 minutes
No,
means.
I just reached home.
Hey!
Hey, Chirag.
What does a day look like for Chirag Shetty? In terms of like Kim Her now being your second round, does it change the dynamic a little bit, or has it gone back to okay, this we continue where we left off? And was it correct that he paired you with Satwik initially? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Average Not Average podcast. I'm CK.
I'm Viktor Axelsen.
And today we have one more guest joining us, but obviously because this podcast is the real deal, doing it in real life. Victor, you're in an airport at the moment, trying to...
I'm at the airport at the moment. Just turning the sound off my phone as well, so we're good to go. And yeah, I'm at the airport. I'm going to Bornholm, which is a Danish island where I'm taking part in some, media obligations kind of thing.
Okay. And then our guest today is learning slightly late. He's in a different time zone than we are. So, I mean, you're in the Danish time zone. I'm back in the UK time zone, and he is in the Indian time zone. He was running late with a doctor's appointment. Doctors hasn't seen him yet, so hence he's been delayed a little bit. He will jump on whenever he can. So hence, yeah, we are always trying to do whatever we can to get it done. It's not always pretty, but we get it done. So
Exactly. CK, did you get a new haircut?
yes, fresh. This is 1 hour ago.
Oh my goodness. Is it because of the podcast or because you genuinely needed a haircut?
I would say option one, podcast needed it. Like, I mean, if you actually watch episode 8, you will see that the hair like this, and in episode 9, you will see it's grown a lot longer, and then episode 10 now, poof, back in shape.
You look very fast and very fresh.
Aerodynamic. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Um,
Before we even go into the main topic of the day, you remember that we discussed about the 2v1. So Viktor Axelsen versus Chiharu, Shida, and Nami Matsuyama.
There's been a lot of debate.
Yes, and I have now gotten a response from the two ladies via a Japanese journalist.
Oh, so
Right here, so I'm gonna translate. Well, it's been translated, but then Japanese journalist Harushikaya really kind, to do that for us. Yeah, I met him in Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia, and then I asked the question.
I think I know who it is you're talking about. Very good guy.
Very good guy. And then absolutely. So he was like, "Yep, I can ask and then see what they say." So here, so Shida, this is Chiharu Shida's response. It is a great honor and appreciated opportunity. I'd really love to challenge Victor, of course. So that's the one. And here's Nami Matsuyama's response. I will definitely accept this challenge and love to play competitively against Victor. My idea is that the first game is in singles court for Victor versus double courts for them. And in the following game is doubles courts versus doubles court if they lose the first set.
Oh, if they lose the first set.
Yeah.
Doubles court is I need to up my insurance.
However, Nami also gave you another option. On the other hand, if they win the first set, it's singles courts versus singles court.
I think, why wouldn't it be? Yeah, I'm very happy that they responded and they're open to the challenge. What if if I win the first set, right, and they're on doubles court, why don't we both just play on singles court?
Yeah. So
then we meet in the middle, right? Because that would make more sense because you're going very from the one end to another, right?
Yeah.
You're going from, and what then it could be if it goes into 3 sets, then maybe we could go like, as I said, where we both have singles court, but it could also be where, I'm just thinking out loud, where, from 0 to 11, it's 1, then from 11 to 21, it's the other way around. and then you can do many ways, but it's an exciting challenge, to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
Did they say if they thought they're gonna win or no?
No. I think Nami left this question. What do you say, Victor? Question mark. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love that they responded.
Whenever I'm fresh and ready, let's set up, let's gather sponsors, let's find somebody who wanna arrange it, let's raise some prize money, and then
I mean, when I was in Singapore, I was at the Wise Active Arena, and then I briefly talked about 2v1 topics, and they were like, "Yeah, but there's some potential here." So maybe in Singapore it could happen as well. We would love for it to happen in Singapore.
we should set up a little exhibition event.
Yep, absolutely. And then we could also do like a live podcast session there as well, like sit down in the hall and
Yeah,
talk
that would be
about
great.
it. Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
do it. What do you think, all listeners and people who are watching on YouTube? Like, let us know in the comments if we should try to set it up. Obviously, I still need a bit more time to get ready. I will need to prepare as seriously as I did before my Olympic Games.
Get locked in. Get absolutely locked in.
Get absolutely locked in. Absolutely locked in.
Yeah, because I think
So
this is such an interesting concept, and it all came from a random Reddit thread, and then now like we're getting the three of you responding to each other in a way, obviously with some help. But yeah, I would love to see this come to life, and obviously yeah, looking forward to this. We will
let's
continue to
make it happen.
explore. Yeah, we will continue to explore this topic. Okay.
Great.
So let's jump into today's main topic. So today's main topic, our guest is from India. He is Chirag Shetty, and so I want you to tell me a little bit more about your experience with Indian badminton. Do you have any?
I have many good experiences. Like, first of all, I have been very fortunate to do well at India Open for many years.
This year as well?
On on top of my head, I can't remember how many times I won, either twice or maybe three times actually, and been in the final even more. So I have always enjoyed playing in India. I've taken part in the Indian League, the PBL, back in the days,
Yep.
which I very much enjoyed seeing, different cities, and it was a part of, that league I really enjoyed taking part in. You got closer to a lot of players, and the players had a chance to also earn decent money during the league. So all in all, I thought that was a very interesting thing and very good for badminton also. And I've seen the sport grow a lot also in India. Many of my followers is from India on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, a lot of Indian followers. And I always get a lot of comments from my Indian followers as well. Like, I think they're one of the fan bases which are, always leaving a comment, always leaving support, and I really much appreciate that. But I have a feeling that the sport has grown. Also, there has been moments, I don't know about you, CK, like where, for example, when they won Thomas Cup,
Yo,
the
yeah.
Indian men's, that there wasn't even more hype afterwards. It was great, obviously, but I thought that they would really explode. I don't know what your observation is.
I think from my perspective, I think India is now the second largest market within the badminton world already, just behind China, right? Because from the sheer volume of people playing the sport. I did a quick check before we jumped on earlier, seeing how many players in each category are in the top 50 within the world rankings. I think in the men's singles they have just seven players in the top 50, so that's quite a lot. I think women's singles they have six, and then men's doubles. I think in doubles they have slightly less option, but obviously Chirag and Satwik are clearly very, very top players. They, like yourself, are one of the rare players that have the full set of World Tour titles, like from 300, 500, 1050, and 1000. So yeah, so it's a rare achievement. It's a very select group of people. I certainly think Indian badminton 100% has been on the rise. Yeah, and then in the Indian Badminton League, is it the IPL or is it the PBL?
Now I'm not sure there is any league in India,
Yeah,
to be
but it
honest.
only ran for one season, 1 or 2 seasons, correct?
Yeah, at least two.
Yeah. So how was the structure like back then? Like, is it like clubs then bid for players like you, and then you go and play within that system?
Yeah, that was how it was. There was like an auction with the players, and then the different team owners, they, set up a team, and you were playing in the different cities. And then there was a semifinals and the finals. I played for Ahmedabad Smash Masters, I think it was called. The last year I played it in 2017, it must have been.
Okay.
And that was the last time I played in the PBL, and probably also the last edition there was going on.
It was held, right?
Yeah. And yeah, it was fun. It was also pretty hard actually, because you were playing and then traveling on, it was late flights and early morning flights sometimes and stuff. But all in all, it was a very enjoyable league to be taking part in. I got so many new relationships with different players and got to know a lot of different people. So, and to see the country as well. Very interesting country and good experiences with that as well.
Yeah, because I think people don't realize how big of a country it is, I guess, in terms of geographical footprint. It's absolutely amazing.
Crazy, and has so many players, many good coaches as well, and just overall very friendly, good people.
Okay. And then what about India Open? So obviously you've won India Open earlier this year, but obviously throughout the years, India Open has been one of the tougher ones to play because, for example, you have for I think did I hear one year? Did I read one year that there's smog inside the hall? Or how do you cope with stuff like that? Because obviously I've just came back from Indonesia, and within Jakarta, there's as a huge growing city, there's always going to be pollution and stuff like that. So like, was it present there at the India Open?
Yeah, obviously there has been, where the India Open is held is a little bit of an older stadium.
Hmm.
But to me, to be honest, I just try to see it as an experience, and I try to accept the fact that we're in a place who do their best to, you know, do the best event possible. Obviously, every single country is different, and every single country has their challenges in regards to, air quality and stuff like that.
Mm.
And hopefully, of course, the quality of that will be better and better during the years. But I've always enjoyed playing. There is something kind of, raw and authentic about being in India.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously I've been playing well, so I've been able to accept the fact that we're in a different country and just try to focus on my matches. The stadium has always been quite easy to play in, considering everything. Not too much wind, usually pretty good temperature also. But obviously it is quite an issue, especially in Delhi with the air pollution. It's not that great, so I try not to spend so much time outside simply due to the fact that I also have asthma. So, it's not good for my, it's not good for my general well-being if I'm staying too much outside in air pollution.
Hmm.
So that's the only thing actually. But I've always enjoyed being there.
Yeah. Do you travel with a like an air purifier, like a portable one that you put in your room? Oh, okay, you do.
Yeah, I have that, a small one, and then I try to wear a mask outside when I'm outside and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just how it is, right? It's many places in the world with so many people, so many cars, all the kind of manufacturing and everything that's going on. So hopefully we will see improvement, in many places around the world.
Yeah.
Have you been to India Open actually?
No, no, we almost went this year, but we didn't go because it was back to back to Malaysia Open. I think yeah, and I think it was just a little bit. It's a new country that we haven't been. We haven't worked with some of the teams on the ground as well. So yeah, so I would love to go. I think on the better controlled conditions. I think sometimes I thought it was the risk might be just slightly too big for us. So unfortunately, yeah, we didn't end up going. We would like to go. We would love to go.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Next year.
Um, Again, talking about players, you will have probably played almost all of the players within the top 50. So currently the 50th is Srikanth, and then the very, very top one is Laksha. So I remember you playing Laksha in an All England final. I think that was maybe his first final and maybe not your first final. How do you feel playing Indian players? Do you find a different style of play?
Definitely. Their style of play is very different from many players around the world. I've been fortunate to be competing against quite a number of Indian players, especially in my younger years, and then also now in my more, if you look back, peak years.
Yeah.
And always very tough competitors. Shrikant, very skillful player, very deceptive player. All Indian players are quite deceptive. Very good disguise shot, especially on the front court. Lakshya, obviously super fast, physically very strong, and the speed he's able to move around with is quite hard to deal with when he has his best days.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he has been, struggling a little bit over the last few years with being, very consistent. And yeah, every player has their struggles, right? When you play Lakshya's game, it's very, very important that you physically are feeling fresh and that you
Willing to
feel like
impress.
you can, that you can play the attacking game and that you make sure you get people, drawn into your way of playing. That can sometimes be very hard if you don't really have a plan B. Sort of say, I'm not saying that Lakshya don't have a plan B, but you need to be able to play on all different
Different
like
types of
playing
game.
styles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And historically, I've done quite okay against Indian players like Srikant. I've lost to, especially when he was, world number one, getting up to world number one. We've had a lot of good matches against each other.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, my head-to-head against Indian players has been quite good,
Quite
seeing
positive.
it from my side.
Okay. So this one I'm trying to dig out to help amateur players like us. So when we play matches and stuff like that, so what do you do when you know, okay, today's not a good day, or today I can't keep up? What are the three, four things that you tend to go back to? Say, okay, today the legs aren't really there. What do you do? Like in your position?
Yeah, I think it's something that every single player, no matter what level you are, you will have days where you feel either uncomfortable or you feel like some kind of shots don't really work that well. And what works for me and what still works for me to this day is that I try to focus on the most simple thing at that moment that I know that I can succeed with. It can be good length on the lift. It can be the right pre-jump or the right movement to a corner.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a shot that I need to feel that I don't feel comfortable with. Then I maybe do like a more basic, more safer version of that shot in order to gain momentum. And then when you start to feel comfortable with the more simpler stuff, then the ball starts rolling and you start to feel more confident. I feel many players, what they do wrong is that they go in and they have like a plan B to go all out, like full attacking all the hard shots. Some days you hit the lines, that's great, but when things aren't working, it's like, what do I do now, right?
Yeah.
I think focusing on the simpler stuff in order to gain momentum on court is very important.
Yep. I think yeah, so same for me as well. Like so when I'm playing like say in singles, if I have issues, I would really try and focus on getting the four corners, like getting the length correct.
Yeah.
If my lifts, just try and get the length right, try and get the width right as well. Clears, don't go too hard, don't push them out. And then try and time the like a recovery. Like so
Yeah.
you hit a shot, get back to base, the timing, like that split step, that one. But then
That's great.
yeah, I
Do
agree
you,
with
do
you.
you, do you, being an amateur player, right, CK? Do you have many tournaments you're able to play and take part in, or how do you actually structure your training? Just I only know it from like more
The professional side. Yeah,
professional side. You're sort of in between, right, where you still take it more seriously than the average Joe, but
yeah,
still not. It's not you don't make a living
yeah. No. So
yet.
in in England, there's a lot of tournaments actually. They all have prize money actually, but their prize money is maybe like £50, so it's
Yeah.
enough to cover your what's it called? Your entry
Yeah.
fee. It's enough to cover your entry only if you win, but you might have to play like 7 matches a day.
Oh, 7 matches a day. You'll be not able to stand the day after.
Yeah, and so if you do 2 events, yeah, you have to play a lot of matches, like in a single day. So, but yeah, like in England, there's plenty of tournaments of various different grades depending on where you are, and then you are eligible for quite a lot of them. I would say almost every other weekend or every weekend there'll be a tournament if you're willing to travel
Wow.
up and down. Yeah. So there's plenty of tournaments. Each of them offer ranking points. Each of them offer grading points. But obviously, if you get too good, like your grading is too high, then you're not eligible to participate in like the lower category ones. But then these tournaments are, yeah, I think they're well organized most of the time, and you see a lot of great people, like a community, right? When you go to a few of these, you see a lot of the same people, and then you start, asking, say hi. I guess similar to the professional level as well in that sense. Say hi, you see each other. Maybe you go out for coffee when you're waiting for a match or something. Just chat and catch up, and that's how I met a lot of my friends as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's great. Badminton has so much to offer when it comes to like the social part of things. What you can sort of, I think, always think back on my youth when I was in Odense Badminton Club, and the atmosphere and just the community around the clubs is something which is very, very important. And I have so many good memories from my club time back in the days when I was a young player.
I mean, just talking about Odense now, one of the topics that I wanted to chat to Chirag about was him and Satwik winning the Arjuna Award and the Khel Ratna Award, which are the two highest sporting awards in India. Have you ever been awarded like a sporting award in Denmark? Oh yeah, you won the sports person of the year, right? This year?
Yeah, there is like two of the like when I was younger, when I won the World Junior Championships, there is something called Ep10, which is like what can we like basically the talent of the year,
Okay.
and that is that is made by Politiken, which is a big Danish media outlet newspaper,
Okay.
which historically is quite a important and pretty nice prize to win. I won that back in the day in 2010, 2011, where Christian Eriksen, the soccer player and stuff like that, also were there. And
Yep.
then I won the Sportsperson of the Year 3 times, I think.
Okay.
And then there is another one, which is BT Gold, which is other athletes, Danish athletes, who vote. They get 3, 2, and 1 points to athletes.
Uh-huh.
And then there is one winner, and I won that 2 or 3 times also.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's always great to get that recognition, and it would be great to hear from Chirag when do you have any update from him?
I'm looking at my WhatsApp messages.
Call him.
Maybe I will call. Well, we give him a little bit more time, and then
Oh.
and then.
A little bit more, otherwise I will call him live on the podcast.
Oh my God, I think that'll be quite interesting. Yeah, go live on the podcast. Because the Indian awards I think come with prize money as well. Does the Danish version offer prize money at the same time?
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's around 10k euros,
Okay.
equivalent of 10k euros something. So I'm excited to hear how much they get for the Arjuna award and stuff. Do you know what is the prize money?
I think it was the Khel right now, I believe is 25 lakhs, which I believe is about 25 lakhs, maybe $30,000, something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. But also for Satwik and Shiraj, they were the only winners in 2023. They
Oh
were
wow.
the only sports person to have won it in 2023. And so I think that's quite a big deal because the whole of
Yeah.
India have a lot of huge sporting superstars. In like Virat Kohli, he also won the Khel Ratna Award. Yeah, to have Satwik and Shiraj winning it alone in 2023, that's quite a big deal.
Yeah, they have already done amazing within the sport of badminton. So it would be good to hopefully have a chat with him today if he makes it.
Yeah. But then I wanna move on to business opportunities because we often talk about business in India, right? And badminton in India is now growing at such a pace. Like for example, Yonex also have their own factories in there now, in India in producing. Do you see yourself, or do you have any businesses already operating in India, or do you see yourself moving into that position as well?
No, but yeah, I would love to explore those opportunities, especially with the sport growing. And obviously, I also feel like I have a little bit to contribute with in terms of the sport itself and being traveling around India for so many years.
Mm.
And it's growing, right? So probably there will be quite a bit of opportunities, and also Indian businesses or people who want to do business there probably also need some people to work with. So yeah, it would be very exciting to see how the sport will continue to grow. in terms of also the middle class growing so fast in India, right? More and more people have the opportunity to play, more and more better academies.
Yeah.
So I think it will be a golden age for badminton in India, hopefully.
Yeah, because I was told a while back that actually in India, it's actually the higher end, like more wealthy class of players, more wealthy players are playing badminton compared to the sport. Because traditionally, I guess in the rest of the world, badminton might be seen as a less wealthy sport compared to say tennis and golf and even say motor racing. But in India, I was told that because of the status of the sport within the image of the sport in India, wealthier clientele are actually playing more badminton. That has to be good. I mean, if that is true, obviously, hopefully, we can get some confirmation. That would absolutely be true. And then I did little bit more digging on the Khel Ratna Award as well. Saina Nehwal, PV Sindhu, also both of them won, and then also para badminton players, Prama Bagad and also
Amazing.
Krishna Nagar also won the badminton for badminton after they won the Paralympics in 2021. And so I guess badminton is quite a heavily favored sport in India from that perspective.
There's no doubt. And once again, it would be great to get some insight from Chirag as well, to about even just the sport, the development of the sport during his career up until now, right?
Yeah,
Because a lot of things has already happened, and also like any other place, there's so many things going on also in regards to the different academies and also the national team. It's very different. Like, there's some players on the national team and some
yeah,
players are not, and it's pretty hard to sort of from the outside figure out what's going on without you actually having exact knowledge about the situation, right?
yeah. I
A
mean,
lot of politics as well.
100%. I mean, one of the questions I have here for Chirag was Tan Kim Her, Coach Tan Kim Her. So Tan Kim Her is a Malaysian coach, but he's coached in I think South Korea, England, Japan most recently, and then 2 stints in India. So I think it was Coach Tan Kim Her that actually put Chirag and Satwik together initially, and then after a long spell, he then left to go to Japan, and now he's back with them. But in your position, have you worked with coaches over 2 different spells or multiple different spells?
I worked with Kenneth Jonathan for a short period of time before he went to UK. I wasn't on full-time basis, but I was over at the national team before I moved permanently, and worked a bit with him, talked a bit with him, and then he left, and then he came back, obviously, right?
Yeah,
So in that case, yes, I have, but not in the way that they have, where it has been, a year or two or whatever, or longer stints working together and then leaving.
yeah,
My situation has been a bit different.
yeah. I think for Chirac and Satwik, I think they Tan Kim Her worked with them. I think until they got to world number one, and then contract finished. I think after the Olympics or something, and then the new cycle, and this is now the cycle after. The third cycle. So I think it'll be interesting to really see and hear his opinion. But also, do you see each other much on the tour? Like, do you talk to each other? Like,
Yeah, we chat when we see each other. Like, we don't really go out for coffee and stuff like that. But maybe it will change if if we have a good conversation.
well, I don't know if you remember this.
Oh yeah, don't we don't talk about that. But no, it would be great to I always actually I love talking to other players, and especially hearing about how are things in the different countries,
Yep,
how is it structured, because everybody sort of have their own setup
yep,
and their own way of looking at things. So, and we're in the same boat anyways. We see each other so many times. So,
yep,
yeah, I have been talking more to Chirag over the last couple of months.
yep.
Also of course, because of the podcast here, but just in general about other things as well.
Yeah, because I think it'll be interesting to really hear, like you said, his perspective, and it's also good to see badminton succeeding in such different methods of structure in terms of training, in terms of the federations and the clubs, and the private structure as well. So yeah, so it would be interesting to actually hear. But then for this one, his his numbers were higher than yours.
I think that's actually one of the funny things which I will be talking about here. Like, when you came into Team Denmark, right? And you have to we have this test, like the
Physical test.
sprinting, the jumping, all the physical test. And also there was a Danish guy who also did like a footwork sort of. You have seen the machine where you need to touch the different
Yep.
lights that's coming up.
Yep.
And I have always in my test results has always been crazy bad.
Okay. I felt like you had to choose different words to say it.
Yeah. We could possibly swear, but I'm not.
It's a
going
clean
to, but-
podcast. It's a clean podcast.
Yeah, it's a clean podcast. But and that's the funny thing. Like, I feel like also in the sport of badminton, if you had selected me out of some physical test or something, I would never make the team.
Yeah.
Or I would probably make the team, but I wouldn't be in the top.
Yeah.
But I knew how to win badminton matches, right? And at the end of the day, you need to be good at your job. You don't need to be good at test.
Yep.
The ultimate test is winning badminton matches.
Yeah.
And that has always been very interesting to me, actually, why that has, and maybe, other players around the world are losing opportunities because they don't jump, whatever, if they get.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
even at our level, so when I had the opportunity to train in the training group, they also did, I believe, I'm not sure if it's once every quarter, but I know it's at least twice a year that they have this physical testing, and then I think everyone hated it the most, like, because it's absolutely shocking, and you have to do a VO2 max test as well, and that's not fun. Like, VO2 max test
No, it's obviously horrible.
It's a absolutely horrible test. I think for anyone that's listening that don't know what a VO2 max test is, you're just continuously pushing your body to test how much oxygen your lungs can actually uptake and flow towards your body to give it to your body. So it's a very, very painful test. Imagine running a 5K but almost at like full blast for as long as possible, something like that. It's not fun. But yeah, we do those tests again, and then again. Generally, you have players like you who are not very, very top of the numbers. Obviously, top 10%, but they're not winning those tests. But then if you're only selected based on, say, if you're a top one in each test, then they don't make the best badminton players because it's such a technical sport.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe it's good encouragement for some players out there. I've always done when you do the interval training on the badminton court,
Yeah.
I've always been able to do those at a very, very high level for a very high intensity for a very long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you told me to run or do a beep test or whatever,
Yeah.
I would never be able to perform in a way that, would beat all others there. But I'm very good at playing badminton and moving on the court. And, that has always for me been the most important thing. And I actually went away from testing, like leading up to some of the big tournaments. I say, listen, I don't want to be measured. I don't want to be tested.
Okay.
Because it will mess with my head. I will just focus on being able to produce the best trainings I possibly can do.
Oh wow.
And that has worked out pretty good for me.
Oh wow, okay, and so that's actually cool because I've never heard of players to say, look, I don't want to be tested, like just leave, like I know my training's working, leave me to it, just focus, locked in.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Because I think
I'm such a perfectionist that it will for sure mess with my head. If I know that, maybe this and this and this, then I will start taking bad decisions. But especially now at my time, where I am right now in my career, I know what I need to do and how I feel on court when I'm close to my best.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's great with tests, but for me, it has been, basically a no-go almost.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So I think we've come to a point in the podcast where, do you want to call Chirag?
Yes. Let's call him.
Hang on.
Like, he can't say that he's coming and then he's not coming. So for sure, we should call him.
He might still be at the doctor's.
Then we talk with the doctor as well why he's late.
Are you calling him via WhatsApp or?
Yeah, I'm calling him now. Hey, Chirag, it's Viktor.
Hey, Victor.
We're on the podcast right now.
Yeah. I am. As I told
Yeah, undskyld.
Vicky,
Yeah.
actually, I went to meet my back doctor.
Okay.
Its appointment was at 2 o'clock. He met me at 3:45. I waited at this clinic for 1.5 hours.
So how far
And
how far are you from being able to join at this moment?
so I just I'm driving back home. I'm right below my house now. I should be there in 2 minutes.
In 2
So in
minutes.
5 minutes, yeah, I can join.
Okay, in 5 minutes you can join. That's great. Because if you told me that you're driving right now and I know the Indian traffic, I would say 5 minutes. 5 minutes
No,
means.
I just reached home.
Oh, that's great. We'll see you on the call. We're on now, so we'll just wait for you.
Done. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
See you, bro. See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Okay. This
Great.
will be on the highlights reel.
Yeah, that's great. That's one of those moments where we need to have those moments, right?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think this is hilarious, and this is as real as it gets for this the average not average podcast. Like, we're always in different time zones. We always try and make it happen, and yeah, and we commit. You know, like when we commit, absolutely commit.
We try our best, and
We send it.
you know, this pretty fun. Pretty fun. I hope he will be on in 5 minutes or something like that, and we can have a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really wanted to get your take on, for example, and I know you've talked about some of your favorite tournaments, but knowing that you've won the full set of World Tour tournaments, and also winning in India this year, have you had a record like, say, winning a World Tour tournament every single year for the last 10, 15 years? Do you have something like that?
I have no idea. The only time I know where I've been able to produce something or do something which is historic has been when one of those statistic uh, profiles or Jillian, Jill Clark, when she puts something up like the fun facts and stuff like that.
Mm.
I don't really keep a track on what what I've done and not done. Other than when the picture pops up, but I couldn't tell you on top of my head where my records. I just know the Super Thousands like 10 in a row or something, which is
Which is pretty hard.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those records where I'm most proud of because that's very, very hard to do.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking about the Super Thousand, obviously you might have come across some of the news articles about potentially the 2027 to 2030 cycles. Super 1000s go into 11 days, 2 weeks. What's your reaction?
I think it's great. We talked about it on the podcast, no?
A little
It's the impact. It's the impact of the average, not average podcast.
bit. Let's go.
We talk about it. We talk about it 1 month later. It's a new no. It's I think it's great. I haven't really looked into the exact format, and I know it's not. It's from 2027, right?
Yep, yep.
So still some time to go.
Yep, yep. I think a lot of the tournaments they need to decide if they wanted to sign up for it, but obviously there's new conditions on what they have to do to support it.
I would say that the only issue I have with that is that who are paying to the new for it would be way more expensive, and who would need to pay, CK?
So far, as far as I'm aware, BWF is paying all the prize money as well as the A boards, the digital A boards. And then also I think they will also provide additional support if each of the host countries are actually requesting for them.
That's great. Perfect. I thought up until now it has been the federations or the host who has been paying most, right?
Yep. But obviously, I think for the media production, it will still be with the host. But I guess if BWF is paying all the prize money or the minimum amount for the uplift, then I guess that's covered in that sense.
Great then. As as long as we have, because that is one of the things for me where if I think back on the biggest tournaments over my now pretty long career,
Hmm.
the change of the actual events itself hasn't been huge. Like the difference, the difference between Indonesia Masters and Indonesia Open, it hasn't been like, oh wow, now it's Indonesia Open. There has been a difference. Like obviously the prize money is there, but the quality of the event itself hasn't been significant, just being completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas All England is probably one of those Super 1000, China Open, obviously it's great events, but there you really feel the difference, right? And I think if you keep it over 11 days and you keep the production at a high level and you really invest in the event itself, and it seems like BWF, they're going to invest, some of their own money into the events as well, then I think it would be great.
Yep.
Let's see if I still play at that time.
Yep. And well, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, because every single match that's played on the Super 1000 will be televised. Every single match, all 219 matches apparently. So there's only two courts, and then in the men's singles or in the singles, you will be playing a group stage. So there'll be 48 players. Yep, 48 players in the singles category.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I think also it'll be quite interesting to see how. Oh, there we go. Chirag is here. Let's go.
Oh no.
Let's show full video. Hey.
Hey, Jack.
How are you doing?
Good. Not so good. Like, he made me wait for an hour and a half.
Are you okay? That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. We have been talking a little bit already, obviously, but CK, we have a lot of stuff where we would like to talk with you about.
Yeah. I mean, also first of all, just to start, I think I asked Viktor, do you see him a lot in tournaments? Are you gonna start having coffees nowadays? Do you like coffee?
Yeah. I don't like, I don't have a lot of coffee, but I can, we can hang out. Like, we've not hung out that much.
You can have tea. But from now on, Chirag, we will need to grab a coffee from time to time. Or you can have, you can have some. What do you like to drink, actually?
So I don't really have a lot of coffee, but usually, like, I have some kind of shake.
Okay. Oh.
Some fruit-based shakes, usually.
Okay.
Like, I don't have anything like tea or coffee on a daily basis.
You don't drink tea?
Yeah.
Or coffee? You don't have any caffeine?
As in, some, like, with cis, I do.
Okay.
But not on a regular basis. But only during tournaments, caffeine, normally.
Okay.
Wow. But also the effect of the caffeine, if you don't take it on a regular basis, you will really feel the pump.
Because I didn't, for the longest time, I was using caffeine in cis, and I didn't really know that it had caffeine. Because a specific flavor had caffeine, and I didn't know why I was not able to sleep in the afternoons.
No.
I felt very active all throughout the day. Then I realized when I saw the thing where it said that it had caffeine in it, and it was as good as having an espresso shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, locked in.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was just saying earlier on, Chirag, you and Satwik have, like Viktor, won the full set of World Tour titles: 300, 500, 750, and 1000. So, and that makes you guys in a very select group. Which win was your favorite one so far? Can you tell us?
I think of all the tour wins, or I think definitely winning the Indonesia Open, the Super 1000 was quite special, because I think we were not playing as well. We started, like, the Olympic period had just started, and I think we were playing. That was the third tournament that we were playing. The first two we lost in the very early rounds. I think lost in the second round in the Thailand Open, and then first round at the Singapore Open. And I think we were at the lowest low.
Mm-hmm.
We really wanted to do well, and things just turned around, and we went on to win the title. So I think that was quite special.
Wow.
Also, was it in the start of the qualification period for the Olympics? Yeah.
Yeah. 20.
Yeah. It also gives you some confidence, and also it gives you, like, sort of, when you get the points, it gives you also a little bit, of calm feeling in your body that everything will be all right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And did you both know that there are different points levels within the Super 1000 currently? So, for example, like China Open, because it offers more prize money, you get more points.
I had no
No,
idea.
what? No, there's
Yeah.
no such rule.
Yeah. So obviously, the rules started, I believe, after the Olympics. And actually, Christo Popov, it was him that actually clarified it to me, and then I looked it up. Like even just on Wikipedia, you will actually see that.
Are you
Um,
serious?
yeah. So currently, tournaments at Super 1000 level that offer more prize money than the base minimum, I believe, which is 1.45 million. The ones that offer more money will actually also provide you with more ranking points. So China Open has more points than the all the other Super 1000.
But but I think they anyways cut the prize money, like they cut the tax amount, so you end up getting the same amount you get
Yeah, of
winning
course.
a thousand at Indonesia. So I don't think
Uh,
that really matters
But
because
that's a really unnecessary rule in my opinion.
yeah,
But
exactly.
more ranking
also I
points.
heard also I heard, CK, maybe you can do some research there, that there is right now something going on where some players who haven't had like 10 tournaments, right?
Yep.
Then they went and played the Sudirman Cup and they got their average like timed up. So some players, like some doubles, have got like 18,000 points for
Oh,
playing the Sudirman Cup.
with a multiplier.
What?
Well, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But
I didn't know.
look,
So
look
I
at
could have just stood there at the court. I couldn't score a single point in the team event this year because I missed both of them.
Oh.
yeah. Yeah. Me too. I didn't get my average also.
Yeah.
So thankfully, there's the protected ranking. Otherwise, it would be traveling around
Yeah.
the challenge tour.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so I mean, I also want to talk about a little bit of injury because obviously, Victor, you're going through your rehab process right now, and Chirag, after the All England, you took a little break. How do you both cope in terms of the injury process? Like, I mean, can you both share like what's happening? Are you both okay? I mean, Victor, you're okay, but then getting better. But then, like, How do you cope?
I actually texted Victor actually a week after the All England because when I heard that he was having a surgery for his back, I had a similar issue with my back because I also had an L5S1 injury and I've been having it for a really long time. So, but this time it lasted for quite a while. So I didn't really know what to do. Like because the doctor said that it was okay and you should be back in 6 weeks,
Mhm.
but it took longer than expected, and it kept getting the timeline kept getting more and more. So it was quite difficult. I think when like in the past few months, I think I realized that whenever someone is injured, it makes me feel really bad for them because I've been through that, and it feels. I think that phase taught me a lot because I think when you know that you will come back in 6 weeks, 6 months, or whatever it is, you know a timeline. But sometimes there are cases like mine, for example, I felt like I was doing everything that the doctors asked me to do, but I was not able to get back in 6 weeks, and it wasn't getting as good as it should have.
Mm.
So, and when you are in the dilemma, what is going on, even though you're doing the right things, but you just have to accept it and just keep on doing what you can. And yeah, that's what I did.
Wow. Okay. And then, so
Yeah.
Victor, did you then give Chirag some advice on what's happened from your side and how you're doing as well?
I think, the only thing that we can do, obviously, I'm always happy to help and share experiences and stuff like that. I think it's also good for athletes because we're going through, many players have the same, injuries. I also talked with Okuhara back in the day when she had problems with her feet because I also had surgery in my ankles. So obviously, every injury and every person is different, but if you share the experience, then they at least know that there is this way of doing it. And, did I feel successful with this, surgery or an approach to an injury?
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it's important that you take all the information you can get also from players who have had similar issues, and then you can take a decision based on that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to hear that you're doing better, Shia. I guess
Yeah.
so you're playing now and playing well again.
Yeah.
So that's great. Happy to see that.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks.
Same. But then also, what does a day look like for Chirag Shetty? What does it look like in a day?
A day, I think, depends on which day of the week it is. Usually
Saturday evening.
Saturday evening. If I'm home, then I like going out for a dinner or something. And I think normally from Monday to Saturdays, it's pretty much of badminton and like probably off court gym, depends on the day. Like usually I have 2 sessions a day.
Mm-hmm.
On Wednesdays and Saturdays I do one, but rest of the days it's two, and Sundays are off.
Okay. And then I think previously I also touched a little bit on with Victor that you've had 2 stints of coach Tan Kim He, right? So he
Yeah.
was with you guys, is it 2015, 2016, something like that? And then through to Tokyo. And then he's gone to
Yeah.
Japan and now he's back. So how is it working with him?
Yeah.
And was it correct that he paired you with Satwik initially?
Yeah. So yeah, we were initially paired by Tan Kim He when I joined the national setup in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked with him till 2019. That's when he left for Japan. And I think when we joined him, I think we had just come off the junior circuit, and I think a lot of the credit for him for transforming us from junior players to like really good, playing well at the senior level. I think a lot of the credit goes to him, because I think in those 3 years that we worked with him, we learned the nuances of doubles. And probably back before that, we knew we were playing doubles, but we were not as good. It became a lot more technical after he came in. And I think, it's really good to have him back now post the Olympics.
But then you also worked with another Dane, Matthias
Yeah.
Bo. Like,
Yeah.
and that kind of kicked it to another level as well. I mean, between Kim He and Matthias, who's your favorite?
I can't really pick and choose between coaches, but I think working with Matthias has been like a life-changing experience. I think we've learned a hell lot from him. His work ethics, his discipline, the way he schedules the sessions, and everything. I think it for me especially, it brought an immense amount of change.
Mhm.
And I could really see the difference in the way I was playing. And I think a lot of the things, even though you're not working with him anymore, they will be with me for the rest of my life. I think there's plenty of things that he's taught us. And I think after he came in, I think we became a lot more articulate in the way we plan our sessions, our tournaments, and everything. So yeah, a lot of credit. I think it was a really, really good experience working with him.
Victor, have you worked with Matthias?
No, not really, but obviously I know Matthias very well. We're from the same area in Denmark. We're from Odense, both of us. So we know each other very well. And he has also been living in Dubai, right? And actually, we moved to the same building as he has apartment in. So yeah, obviously we are pretty close in that regards.
Yeah.
And
also in Dubai.
So it's I know him very well, and we've been playing a lot of box games and stuff like that over the years. If you ask him, he believes that he's the reason why I've been able to to do well. Also, is because the box games. But obviously it has been great to see him help Chirag and Satwik.
Yeah. And then, so in terms of like Kim He now being your second round, does it change the dynamic a little bit? Like, or has it gone back to, okay, we continue where we left off? Like, does that feel that way, or it's slightly different?
Very different, actually. I think when he initially came in, I think we were just following whatever he was saying, because I think we were youngsters when he came in, and now I think we are pretty much established players. Been there in the circuit for a decade almost now, and so the dynamics have obviously changed.
Mhm.
So we obviously we didn't start from where he left, but I think so he also knows that things have changed, and there's a different approach I have to use this time around, because when he came in, we were just kids, and now I think he's seen us play, he's seen us grow, and now it's a lot more. It's a two-way thing where it's not just a direction. Earlier it was just direction. Now it's like discussion where both of us, like both me and Satwik and could sit together and discuss what are the areas we need to work on, and we brainstorm in a way.
Yeah, and so very similar to the relationship you have, Victor, with PK and Gator as well, no?
Yeah, it's as you get older, you sort of know what you need to do and what works for you and how you want to structure it. So it's a two-way thing now for many of us, I believe, especially for players who have been on the tour for many years. And also with so many tournaments there is, it's even more important now that the coaches listen to the coaches listen to the players, and that you can have that conversation. Talking about Chirag and Satwik getting old, I remember one of my first when I played in the PBL, I was on a team with Satwik.
Satwik, yeah.
Yeah, and he had like a paddleboard or whatever accident before we had to play.
Yeah.
So his shoulder was messed up, so he couldn't play a few matches.
Oh,
And he was a teenager almost back then. I was just thinking like, boy, you don't go making risky decisions outside the court when you have to play. It was great, fun experience. I remember that team meeting where I was like, he was raising his hand saying, I can't play. I had like a swimming accident or whatever it was.
He was in the US, I think, in 2018. And he had gone to visit his brother who stayed in the US. And he, along with his friends, like brother's friends, he went out swimming on a paddle board or something. And he hit he actually fractured his rib.
oh,
Yeah, so he was out for almost 4 months because it was a very weird place to get a fracture. Yeah.
oh wow. So I mean, so this is a question I wanted to ask, because a lot of doubles players, one of them get injured. How does the second one cope? Like, it must be, I guess, frustrating, but then also at the same time, you also want to get back on court ASAP. What's the mindset back then? Like,
It's a very, very tricky situation to be in. I think, like last year, especially when post Olympics, like almost 3 months, we were not able to play because Satwik was injured. And because I was training for those 3 months, and I was training like really heavy. So, and it becomes very repetitive with no real goal in sight.
yeah,
So, it actually takes a toll on you, not physically, but obviously mentally.
yeah,
Because you don't really know. Like, we all athletes, we train with the goal in mind that yes, I want to perform well at this and so tournament. This is when I want to get back on court. But I was just training mindlessly, not knowing when I'll actually get to play a tournament.
yeah.
So it definitely is a very tricky situation. But I think it's a part and parcel of playing doubles. I think if you are ready to be there in the good days, then you better be there for the bad days as well. So I think it comes.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you two ever play doubles together? Maybe in a next Indian league? You never know.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be fun. I'm not sure it would go that well with me in doubles, but we could try for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also just to put you on the spot, Chirag. So we've had this little conversation going on with Victor playing 1v2 against two world-class women's doubles ladies, Nami Matsuyama and Chiharu Shida. Who would win in a 1v2 situation? Two ladies versus one man.
Which is it, a single sport or a double sport?
I love that you asked that straight away.
Exactly. That's the question I ask firstly. Like, so let's take
it too difficult to cover.
Yeah, I also think that, and of course, if it's doubles court, it will be hard for sure.
Yeah.
If it's both have singles court, what do you think then?
It will be a tough match. Surely.
You think?
I don't think it would be very easy. Depends on the shuttles as well. I think the shuttles have to be. If the shuttles are slow, then I think the women's doubles will take it because
The women's doubles will take it, you think?
If the shuttles are slow.
Okay.
If the
Maybe
shuttles
we
are,
should maybe we should have a bet, Chirag, when we put
Yeah.
this match.
Yeah,
I'm loving
but
this.
the shuttle needs to. I need to just know if the shuttles are if the shuttles are even decent, then it's a very tricky match. If the shuttles are slow, like really slow, then the women's double, because they can defend, because that's how they play. They keep defending,
Mm.
defending. But if the shuttles are fast, I don't think they have a chance then. So it depends
You're right
a lot
that
on the conditions.
You're right that they are defending, but they're not defending against my attack, Chirag.
What about
all jokes aside, I think it will be. There's many factors to this. Shuttles, as Chirag says, and which court are we playing on? But
yeah?
I think I will be pretty nervous actually.
Well,
Yes.
because I also wanted
But I think you
to
should
ask
have
this. Yeah. Well, Chirag, what about you as well? What about you?
I
Like,
think
if
it's
it's you,
happened in some other sport. I think I think the guy who I don't know his name. The Swedish guy who is the Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Pole vault.
In a
oh,
height.
Mondo.
He actually beat a 400-meter runner,
Yes,
world champion.
yes, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Being a pole vaulter, he beat a runner. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think we need something like this.
A crossover, right? A crossover. So
Yeah.
So it could be, for example, singles Viktor Axelsen against Chirag Shetty, but then Victor has to give like I don't know 5-point leads.
I don't think with Chirag's back issues that he should throw himself out in this.
Yeah, double is itself being getting difficult right now.
Wow. But I agree. Like I think we need to try and do something like this, like get some crossover events, get some fun events, and then let badminton fans actually enjoy you guys kind of being slightly out of position. Well, out of the usual, 1v1 or doubles 2v2 games. But yeah, I think it'd be something interesting, and we'd like to keep the conversation going. I want to quickly touch on Arjuna and Khel Ratna awards. So you and Satwik have both won these, which are two of the highest sporting achievements, right? In India. How does that feel actually to have badminton at such a big scale within Indian sport? Because cricket is massive, hockey is massive, right? And athletics is now gaining huge traction. How did you feel?
Yeah, obviously it feels really good. I think we getting the Khel Ratna especially because it's usually given only once a year to the best performing athletes of the year, and we got it post the Asian Games gold and when we became the world number ones. So I think it definitely made us really happy. I think we've always felt known that if we perform well and keep achieving at the highest level, I think um, things will fall into place and the accolades and laurels will keep coming. And I think that's what we did. And I'm happy that we could get the Khel Ratna. It's a huge honor getting it from the President of India, and then being the only two from that year to get it, it makes it even more special.
Yeah, 100%.
That's very special.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
And then, did you see that from that moment onwards, did badminton change? Say, it's like when you first started getting into the national center, how has badminton changed in India? Like, actually, how does the system work? Like, does everyone needs to be from the national center, or like players from other clubs can also play internationally?
So you are either part of. There are three national centers right now. One in Bangalore where Lux trains, one in Hyderabad, and one is in Guwahati, which was recently it started. And I think whoever are a part of the national setup need to be in either of these three camps. And if you are getting an entry in the main draw of a Super 1000, Super 750, then you will be part of the Indian team traveling for the tournaments. But if you need to be in the main draw for that.
Okay.
And I think if you perform well at the junior level tournaments, then you get like that. That's how I got into the national setup, where I played well at the junior level and then got into the senior national camp. And then once I started playing well in the senior national camp, I got into the Indian team traveling for tournaments.
Oh, wow.
because
So if you get into the main draw, the Indian Federation will also pay for the players' travels and hotel and stuff.
yeah,
or-
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
that's pretty good.
So if you are in the top 32, then you are part of the Indian team traveling, like proper Indian team.
Mhm.
But when I was there, probably I got the support only when I started, obviously, getting into the main draws of the Super 500, Super 750s. But now there's also, they send players for challenge level tournaments as well, the youngsters. And but back in the day, like when I was there, not many people were sent for challenge tournaments, but mainly for Super Series. Now there's also a team being sent for challenge tournaments. Not all of them, but a couple of them.
Wow.
So
Yeah, you see other countries. Oh, sorry. You see other countries also sending, like, Chinese Taipei also sending huge
Yeah.
teams to the challenge tournaments nowadays, right?
They are bigger than China, I think, right now.
Well, within our own media teams, we actually have like an internal joke. Like there's always a new Chinese Taipei player at every single tournament that we struggle with the names.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
they all play well.
They all play
Crazy.
men's doubles.
There are 6 or 7 pairs at least, and there are 2 pairs I've never seen in my life before.
Yeah.
At every other tournament, and even in men's singles for that matter, there are at least 6 people in the main draw right now.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
play.
think nobody,
They play well.
or all of them,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they've played fairly well, like really well, really well.
Yeah. And then, so how many players are in a center? So you said there's 3. How big is a group?
Probably 50,
Okay, 50.
including outside. I think not 50, maybe 40
Okay.
or something, but including all events, doubles,
Do-
singles.
Do you stay and live at the academy, or do you have your own place? Do you live outside?
I stay at the academy. There are rooms at the academy, and Satwik actually has a house in Hyderabad. He got a place in Hyderabad, and he stays out. I stay at the academy because I keep on weekends. Like if I have free weekends, then I fly back home to Mumbai.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. How far is the journey like from your training center back home?
An hour.
On the plane?
No, I take a flight.
Okay, an hour on the plane.
An hour.
Okay. So
Like the academy is not very far from the airport, so it takes 30 minutes to reach the airport, and then 30 minutes home.
wow,
Yeah.
okay. And then
Pretty cool.
does each center only cater to specific events? Like for example, you said Laksha is in the Bangalore side, and then you're in the doubles. Do they do singles there only, and then doubles here with you, or?
No. So Bangalore is predominantly for singles, where like you don't really have any doubles pairs there.
Mhm.
In Guwahati, there are younger players, youngsters who are in the junior categories who train there, singles as well as doubles. It's Guwahati is still a lot more new, so you'll only have juniors there.
Mhm.
There are no seniors as such. Whereas in Hyderabad, you have pretty much
Everyone.
all the categories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you find it hard for you to walk around the town? Like, do people stop you all the time?
No. It's not as I think it's not as popular as one thinks. But yeah, you get you won't get mobbed. You'll get people come up, click pictures with you, but you won't get mobbed by
No.
people.
Okay, but then obviously
Like,
you two get mobbed in, say, Indonesia and Malaysia, no?
oh yeah, in Indonesia, Malaysia, yes, but not in India.
Okay.
Mm.
Same for you, Victor?
Yeah, it's the same. Like if they're around the stadium and stuff like that, obviously people are there to watch badminton and they know who we are. But if you go around the city or if you go in to buy some groceries and stuff, you're fine in India and in Denmark for that matter. So it's more of those, in China also, obviously there's a lot of people who are
China
watching
is quite,
badminton.
yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise we are pretty safe.
Yeah, pretty safe. Yeah, because it's pretty cool that sometimes abroad you are more famous. You both are more famous abroad than
Exactly.
actually back home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it is.
Okay. I mean, for me, it's actually really cool to be able to, you know, see a different side of the setup as well, because each country have a very unique position on that. But then, how do you see Indian badminton say in the next 5 years, Chirag? Like where, like you already have 6 or 7 players in the men's singles, top 50 already.
Mm.
What's the goal? Like where do you see it going?
Yeah, I hope we have many more world beaters in the coming years. I think I feel currently we are in a phase where uh, we are like the old guard is shifting and the new crop of players will come, and you don't see a lot of performances where
Yes.
everybody there's a player playing a final every other week or anything. So I think it's in a rebuilding phase. So it will take some time, but I hope because the support has been tremendous from the government, the association, everyone. I hope we have at least a couple of players in each event playing in the top 20s in the coming year.
Yeah, because I recently also released a new monetary reward scheme, right?
Yeah, yeah,
For both tournaments and also what's it called, majors?
yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
in effect
I
now?
think it was sort of always there,
Ah,
but now it's in place. Like it's out there in the open and it's in place. But we've always been rewarded by the association for the major events.
oh wow, okay, pretty cool. Victor,
That's very
does
cool.
Badminton Denmark has that system previously?
No, not really. So yeah, we don't really get any awards or any prize money or extra bonuses if you do well. When after I won my Olympic golds, I did get from the team Denmark a bonus, but that's around 25k USD equivalent, and that's the only thing I got from the government or the team Denmark. So the other countries, like for example, India, Indonesia,
Singapore,
Malaysia,
Malaysia, yeah.
Singapore, Malaysia, they have huge, support if you win medals, and I really love that. I think it's amazing for the athletes, and that's something I wish we would have in Denmark, not only for selfish reasons, but because obviously that really shows that you take care of the athletes and you know, you really prioritize it. But we don't really have that in Denmark.
Yeah. And then I think also, Vic, I think this is both a question for you both. Have you both trained in different countries? Obviously, Victor, you've trained in Dubai, like long term, and also in Denmark. Chirag, have you trained outside of India, say for 6 weeks, 8 weeks at a time, 2 months? Have you done that before?
Never for a longer period, but I have had stints in Dubai because Matthias was in Dubai for a bit. Like we used to go to Dubai every 3-4 months or so,
Okay.
and we used to have a week and a half, 2 weeks in Dubai, and it was always a good experience because I think as athletes to train in the same arena day in day out for longer periods of time, it definitely gets taxing. It takes a toll on you. So having a change of environment, especially for us, I think it worked really well, and I think it's quite different because um, it's a lot of the countries. The system is very centralized. Everybody's training together. Everybody has their own group of players playing together, so they can't really do that. But whenever we did that, whenever we went to Dubai, had really good food, had really good sessions, chilled to the
Well,
fullest. So it felt really, really good because I think whenever we trained in Dubai, we actually played well the week later.
Habibi, come to Dubai.
yeah. New training partner, like like
You're more than welcome, Shaq.
Yeah,
Come
I
and
think we should. I think we should have another because I think we were training at the same place. I think Victor used to train at NAS, but he used to come sometimes to baseline as well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, sounds like this is a done deal. Like cannot wait to see you guys train together,
Yeah.
make more
Yeah.
content together as well.
So we can fix each other's backs also with the
Exactly.
100%. Okay, I think one last one because I think Victor needs to go. Any funny stories you can tell us from your experience, like pick the funniest one that you have with Satwik, and then that makes him need to come on the podcast to explain himself the next time round.
Satwik is like he's an extremely shy guy. Like when you come across on the court, he'll dance and all, but he's like he'll like to be in his he'll like to be by himself, and like I am someone who is a little more outgoing. Like I like to try different cuisines, travel, and see around the place. Whereas Satwik would just like to sit in the room, watch something, or play PUBG. Back in the day, he used to play a lot of PUBG.
PUBG.
So that's great. Like right now, I don't think he's playing PUBG, but this is quite funny. He actually watches people playing PUBG.
Yeah.
So he's a
On
gamer.
Twitter.
Yeah. While someone is playing PUBG and he's actually saying what he's doing, and Satwik just watches them doing that. I don't know what joy you get out of. I think you should ask
We
him.
can
What
ask him.
joy do you get
We can ask him.
We can
We'll ask him about
watching
PUBG.
people playing PUBG?
Yeah, we can ask him. 100%. I agree. Okay. Well, I think we're out of time, Victor, because obviously you need to go catch a flight. And Chirag, thank you so much for coming on as well.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. And
Thank you so much.
And then
Thank you.
hopefully we get you both again on next time.
Sorry for being late. Like
It doesn't matter.
like, I couldn't-
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
No problem.
I love that Victor
Yes.
just called you straight away, so it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Chirag. Keep in
Thank you.
touch.
Thank you.
Will do. Thank
See
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
When I played in the PBL, I was on a team with Satwik.
Satwik, yeah.
Yeah, and he had like a paddleboard or whatever accident before we had to play.
Yeah.
So his shoulder was messed up, so he couldn't play the few matches.
Oh.
And he was a teenager almost back then. It was great, fun experience. I remember that team meeting where I was like, yeah. He was raising his hand saying, I can't play. I had like a swimming accident or whatever it was.